I never wanted to study computer science. My mom practically forced me to study computer science. I wanted electrical engineering, and understanding the way the educational system is in Nigeria, you want a course, you don't get it. And the only one that came my way was computer science, and I took it with faith.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Africans in Diaspora. With me here, I have another friend, and I would like him to introduce himself. Can we meet you, please?
Hi, my name is Diaspora, and I live here in Munich, in Germany. I work with a critical infrastructure in Germany. Yes, and they're into payments and processing. So yes, that's pretty much a summary of me, actually.
All right. So how long have you been in Munich, Germany?
So this month will make it 8 months, actually.
8 months,
yeah.
Okay. So what has your experiences been since? Oh, you did not actually say where you're actually from.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I'm from Nigeria, actually. I'm from Nigeria. So
okay.
That's it,
so how's your experiences been so far? 8 months. You know, it's a long time.
8 months. 8 months. 8 months. It's been good. It's been fine. I mean, first winter ever. Trust me, it's been deadly. The cold, having to adapt to the cold and everything. It's coming from a hot country, it's a very temperate country. Having to come here, it's been a rough time trying to adapt to the weather. The language has also been another problem, because pretty much everyone speaks German. So getting people to speak English, the first thing I usually do is, do you speak English before I go to a conversation?
Do you usually say that in German?
Oh no, I say that in English, please. Do you speak English? And so to be able to establish a baseline for our conversation, and if it's required, they get an English interpreter and then we talk. Yeah, but good part about it is my company makes it easy for us for the integration, as we have language classes for people like us. So yes, it's been about 6 months of language classes, and I've been catching on the language.
Okay, so can you say some words in German?
Basic standard greeting, guten Morgen, good Abend, heute. A couple of words like that. That's okay. The things I can say. So, right. I mean, please don't hold me for that. All right. Then.
Okay, so possibly in like a year or so, you would.
Hopefully. Maybe a year I'll be able to speak English. Maybe, just maybe.
Okay.
Just maybe.
All right. So can you tell us a little background about yourself and just a little background about yourself? Yeah?
My life's quite funny anyway. So when people ask me about my background, I think back and I'm like, okay, well, like I'd always say, God has been faithful. I finished my degree at the age of 18. Most people never know, but it's quite interesting. Anyway, I finished from computer science from a leading university in Nigeria.
Okay.
Though it's a government school, it's not a private school. I regard people say leading university, they're probably a private school. No, I finished from a government school, a federal school at that matter. Yeah. So I never wanted to study computer science. My mom practically forced me to study computer science. I wanted electrical engineering, and understanding the way the educational system is in Nigeria, you want a course, you don't get it. And the only one that came my way was computer science, and I took it with faith. I still did jam in 200 level, hoping to switch. 200 level, yeah, because I really wanted to study electrical engineering. But as that didn't come out as expected, I had to face my studies properly. I mean, it was a narrow escape from third class. Very narrow escape from third class, because I didn't take school seriously. But it was quite good. And so I finished my university studies. I went to serve. Between the period of my service and getting a job, my mom just looked at me one day and said, "Okay, young man, you finished school. So what do you want to do with your life as regards computer science?"
Yeah.
And I always had a flair for the security space. I always had this flair for the security industry. I always had a flair for the defense. There are days when I was sitting down like, hopefully one day I'll work in the CIA. Maybe my dream will come true someday.
Okay.
Yeah. So I told her, you know what, I'd like to do security. And then she told me, okay, you know what, go check list of courses, certifications you can do. And then I think it was New Horizons at the time. Yeah. So I went through, checked through, and then I saw the CH. Then it was CH version 7, and she asked me how much the price was. I told her, called the company, and they said, well, I could split payments at the time. So I did first batch, and it was quite an interesting one for me. I would say was the building blocks for my career in security.
Okay.
Like, I'm currently a security engineer. I've done a lot of things in the security space, and it's been a good journey for me. And so having to do that, I got my first certification, which was in 2013. Yeah. I started work August that year, 2013. However, I still didn't start with security.
Oh, interesting.
I started with e-business in the financial industry. I had fresh out of training school. distribution. So I fell into the e-business industry. I did that for about 2 years and 4 months before the space opened up in the security space, and I switched roles.
Okay.
And I'm grateful for the teachers I had. I had very good teachers, I had very good mentors, I had very good leaders. My group head was an amazing person, my team lead was an amazing person. He's currently in Canada right now. I mean, everybody's leaving, like, you know, right? So it was quite fun. It was a good one, actually. And those were the basic foundations to my security space. I did that with that bank for about a year and a half, and then I got headhunted for another bank because of my skills in certain areas. And then I moved on to the other bank, which I did about a year and 4 months, and then I went into consulting for about 4 months, where I worked with a mentor of mine to build up a certain industry. But at the time, I already gotten a job with Germany, a current company where I work with, and so it was more of a transition period for me to just help out with a couple of things before relocating, and then it worked out well. Then I came to Germany, and yeah, that pretty much sums it all, actually.
Okay. So you actually talked about some certification, or one certification that you did. You know. So can you shed more light on how you were able to build yourself? Because I believe that's not just one who assisted you. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, that was the introductory part into that line. It was the introductory part into that area. I mean, over the years, I've had a couple of certifications. What I try to do is at least write 3 professional exams every year. Some might pass, some might fail, right? But like I would always say, certifications are not meant to boost your CV, not really. They are meant to be a show of your understanding of that aspect. So that's why I said I pass some, I fail some. So it's supposed to test and certify my knowledge in that space. And over the years, of course, you want to do certifications to show that you are an expert in a certain area. Security, for me, for example, is very broad. You have infrastructure security. You have, in fact, 2 major categories: offensive and defensive. I've been on the defensive side for all my life, so it's been an interesting series. It's been an interesting time for me.
So can you possibly list maybe like 1 or 2 or 3? You know, because the idea is actually to assist people who are looking at going into the space where you are, you know, so some recommendation of what you feel nice to have or nice to know.
So if you're in the security space, most of the time I always tell people start come to S+. I started with CH, and it was one of the most difficult at the time, but if you can go through it, then awesome, perfect, right? But I always tell people start with S+, has to come to S+, right? Looking through my experience back home and how I got the job here, honestly, I would say I'd paid my dues. Right? Paid my dues in the sense that I did a lot of hands-on work. I had teachers who were open to allow me learn, who were open to allow me practice. I had teachers who were willing to guide me. So in this industry, I will always tell people, you know what, have a mentor. Having a mentor would help you go a long way in deciding what aspects you want to go in. I mean, I see people chat me up and say, you're doing well in security, I like to go into security space, what do I do? And first question I ask them is, what interests you in security? If I know what interests you in security, then I can advise you on lines of certifications. Like I said, there are 2 core parts, the offensive and the defensive. And in the defensive, there are different aspects, from infrastructure to core engineering to audit and compliance, regulatories, and the like. So you have to understand what it is you want to do, what aspect drives and tickles your fancy, right? So you don't just be a jack of all trades, a master of none. Yeah, so there are a couple of certifications you can do down the line, but like I would say, please pick an area of specialty, get someone who has strived in that space, who can help you, and then walk you through the whole growth process.
So now let's tune back to when you tried applying, or you applied to the job here in Germany.
Good question.
Can you tell us like what the process was like? You know, so for example, someone who is into the security space in Africa and is looking forward to opportunities. You know, so can you just state some of the things the person is actually going to go through? You know,
It's not hard, I'll put it that way. Why? Everybody in life is always going to get one chance. So they would always say, I used to work in a company, I had an MD that said opportunities, right, would always come, right? But the question of how prepared are you? So like I said earlier, I had a good chance to develop myself, to grow my skills, right? So for this company where I work in fact, it was the second time I applied, it wasn't the first time. First time I applied was for a different role in the security space, and I went through the first of the interview. I didn't make it to the second stage, and I think I'd probably given up or something, until a friend just said, hey, you know what, applied again, and like 6 months after, I saw another job role which was called to my area of expertise. Yeah, and then I applied, and I did the first ever interview. I had to travel down actually for the second stage. The whole visa processing was a bit hard. Trust me, it was a bit hard. But I mean, I got in, and then I came for the second stage of the interview, and God so good, God so faithful. I got the job, and then it was now time to relocate. We can understand the whole process of visa processing, having to wait, the long time, the long period, and everything. It was quite a very long wait. And well, I'll say I was favored because just around when I was applying for my appointment was when the system changed, and then it became a queuing system. So I was one of the very first people that got appointments when the whole process changed. So I would say it can be quite hard. I waited for about 4 months to get my visa. Yeah, so I started processing in February, didn't get it until like June, things like that. So it might be quite difficult, but on the job now, I was questioned and I was interviewed based on my experience. And I had the desired skills that were needed for the job. And it was a good one. It was a good one. So like I said, I paid my dues. It might sound very vague, like people would say, but there are days where you sleep in the data center. I mean, I can remember the days where you do 72 hours straight, non-stop, because you had an issue you had to resolve, security related, right? Those are the days that built us up. Those are the days that built me up. Those are the days that helped me develop the skills which I've come to appreciate and use them on the job, and I'm still learning. So yes, those are. Just pay your dues and be dedicated to what you do. Eventually you learn. All right,
very good. So one question I will also like, it's more or less like seeking your own opinion.
Okay.
Would you state that professionals like yourself, you know, who have developed over the years, you know, should move out, go to...
Good question, good question. Good
move
question.
out, or should remain in the country and continue developing the space, you know? Because if the good skills, you know, the good talents actually move out, who is going to, you know, develop the whole space here in Africa? So what's your own opinion about that?
So the good part about it is Germany is a country that appreciates talent, and they are open to people, right? The technology space is growing. It's really growing, I would say. Technology is really growing, and they need talents to really fill up this space, right? It's bad that Nigerians are having to leave, and honestly I can't blame them. When you look at the political instabilities, the issues around government, the insecurity, the instability, financial issues, and everything, looking at how poor the country is really dwindling into. Some would say it's doing well, some would say it's not doing well, depending on what part of this cake you sit on, right? Honestly, right? But that's the more reason why I see people really look to Canada, because these are places that really appreciate this skill set. I mean, having to see my skill set back home in Nigeria, if I was probably negotiating based on then, I'd probably negotiating for something very low because I just needed to grow, right? But coming to an industry and a country that really appreciates your skill set, once you're able to prove that you know it, that's honestly, it's a good one. That's why you see people, for example, locating the likes of Canada, Germany. Companies in Germany are currently picking up people like easily. Once you can prove that you know the job and you apply, I mean, it's good. So, do people stay? Honestly, it's left to you. Do you think you can make an impact in Nigeria, or while on good stay? Do you think you can't, or you want to pursue your career? I mean, it's good, leave. But I would always advise people to at least look for a way to build the international exposure, right? It gives you a different perspective to how things are done. It gives you a different perspective to the industry, right? So, having to get the international exposure, even if for a year or two, even if you're a Nigerian lover, for example, and you want to stay back home and build Nigeria, please get that foreign experience. It changes the perspective. Okay,
very good. So the other question is, do you intend going back to Africa?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Honestly, no.
Honestly.
No. Honestly, no.
Okay.
I mean, I still got my family back in Nigeria, right? Yeah, but the honest truth about it, if I'm going to be realistic, is we have great Africans, we have great Nigerians, but we do not have an economy that's really going to support that growth. We don't have that economy yet. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now when things get better, oh yeah, I could consider. But for now, honestly, no, I don't think I'm ever going to go back to Nigeria.
Okay, so what advice would you give to people who are in Africa currently? You know, for some people, like I have asked other people who have interviewed, you know, for some people they have the drive, for some people they are building their skills, you know, and the opportunities are not available, you know, yet. So what would you advise? Would you advise them to move out? You know, it's more or less like the question I asked earlier, but would you advise them to move out or be hopeful and do the little they can do in the space they find themselves?
Let's be hopeful. Hopeful. All right, so honestly, right, I'd say build yourself. Whether back home in Nigeria, whether looking to leave Nigeria, please build yourself, right? There's always going to be opportunities to either take you out of Nigeria or keep you in Nigeria, but the basic is to build yourself. If you get a chance to leave, all well and good, please leave. If you get a chance to stay or you feel you want to stay, everyone knows what they're looking for, right? So I was looking for something. I mean, I always wanted to leave Nigeria. I always wanted to leave for Germany, for example, right? And then when the opportunity came, it was a good one, and I tapped into it and moved on. But I mean, I was prepared anyway, so.
Okay, so the second to the last question, what inspires you?
Inspires me, what sense?
Inspires you, you know, that's wanting to become better at whatever you do. What inspires you?
Well, I've always wanted to grow. I've always wanted to learn. I've always wanted to impact, right? So my inspiration has been able to solve problems. Someone who's able to solve problems would always grow. People will say money. For me, solving problems will always give you money, standard, right? Yeah. So looking for problems to solve that problem would always be my own inspiration.
Okay. Any final words?
Final words to everyone out there. Honestly, just keep doing what you do well, right? Get better, improve yourself, right? I mean, opportunities can come either in Nigeria, outside of Nigeria, in the diaspora, locally, even within Africa, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, like I would always say, please always develop yourself, because in the end, you would always stand out. You would always stand out. Okay.
So, like we have heard from Adiola, always develop yourself, because in the end you will stand out. So thank you very much for joining us on this episode.
Thank you so much. It was good to have you.
Also, don't forget to subscribe and to like.
Please subscribe and like. I mean, we need the subscriptions.
And also share it with your friends and families. And to the next episode of Africans in Diaspora. See you guys later. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
What inspired? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Africans in Diaspora. With me, I have here Stella, and she's going to introduce herself in a more elaborate way now. So can the audience actually meet you?
Hello everyone, my name is Stella, and I'm from Nigeria, and I'm here and I'm making an internship. Thank you very much.
All right, so can you tell us, how long have you been in Germany?
I've been in Germany for almost 3 years now.
3 years now. Yeah. That means your German is like very good.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
Okay, can you say some words? That's quite simple ones, you know, to the audience, you know. Would you like introduce yourself once again auf Deutsch, ja?
Hallo Leute, ich heiße Stella Victor, ich komme aus Nigeria und ich mache hier eine Ausbildung.
Oh, very good. So, can you tell us what your experiences have been so far, you know, while you have been in Germany?
Yeah, so far it has been great, and I met great people, and I met great co-workers. Everything has been great, but of course we cannot exclude the negative aspect of it. So yeah, the negative aspect is that you've been here and coming from an English-speaking country. Yeah, you have to learn the language, which is also another part of the barrier, and you might need to learn longer than expected or something, yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about you, I believe. So how good is your German currently?
My German is okay, I would say.
So is it B2, C1?
No, I have B2, and I recently wrote the exam for C1.
Oh, wow, that's also. So can you tell people, you know, because a lot of times it's always quite difficult for especially people who are English speakers, you know, to pick up the German language. Can you tell us some of the tips that you actually used, you know, in learning this language from A1 to C1 now?
Actually, I'm a person who loves other cultures. I love other languages because I love music. And apart from learning English from school, or because it's a national language, and also apart from my dialect, I also love to learn other languages. That's where I picked my interest from.
Okay.
But actually, it wasn't easy. Because I love music, I listen to German songs, and what helped me actually was watching TV, watching news in German, and also listening to radios. and there are also newspapers for those who love reading. I love reading books.
Okay.
I love books a lot, so I also started reading from the nursery books.
Okay.
Yeah, nursery German books.
Simple ones, right?
Yeah, they're very simple, and that's where I picked up my Germans from. And going also to Dutch course, you, for instance, listening to TV and reading those books, and also going to Dutch course, you hear almost the same words every day. And on your way to and fro, you see people on the bus, at the supermarket, and they they speak the same same words and the same languages, irrespective of the situation. And
Okay, so if I am to summarize what you've actually said, what actually helped you is the fact that you were interested.
Yeah, my interest.
You immersed yourself, in learning. That's by reading, by watching, and also speaking when the opportunity actually arose, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us how you got your internship? Because I believe a lot of people might actually be interested, in knowing how they can actually get internships, or Ausbildung in Germany.
Yeah, the thing about Ausbildung is interesting, it's great. And I sent my YX certificate to a place where they certify certificates. And after certifying the results, it was accepted. With this YX result, I used it to apply for the Ausbildung, for the internship.
Is there any language requirements, if someone wants to do like an internship or Ausbildung?
Of course. Because this is a German-speaking country and not an English-speaking country. Although knowing English would be a plus, because if you also know a foreign language, it would also be great. And the requirement is B2.
B2.
Yeah.
I'm even saying it wrongly. B2.
Yeah, B2, because they want you to understand more, and depending on which Ausbildung you're doing, on which internship that you are participating on, that you love to do, then the language requirement is higher. Okay, so which
specific field are you actually in right now?
Yeah, I'm in the medical field. I'm making an internship for assistant nurse.
Okay.
And for this assistant nurse, I need B2 actually, because it has to do with human life, and you need to understand the problems of the patients, and also to give them feedback and to explain to them what the solutions are and what the patient needs and does not need to do.
Okay, so what's the duration of the internship,
It depends. There's an internship for assistant nurse for 1 year, and there's an internship for just a normal nurse for 3 years. And you can go higher, maybe you want your master's or doctor's degree, then you can study more
So how difficult is it if we are using like a scale of 0 to 100? How difficult is it?
The internship here in Germany I find interesting, because the system of teaching is a little bit different from where I come from in Nigeria. So it's interesting because they teach you what you need to know, and they teach you exactly, not only theoretically, but they also teach you practically. And that's what I find interesting. But rating it, I would say it could be 50, because it's difficult, it's interesting, but
it's difficult. It's more it's demanding, if I can use that.
And another thing is also, if you have your interest, like I love doing the job, I love helping patients, and when the patients comes in sick and they're going home well again, they say thank you very much for helping me. I'm like, this is the greatest gift. I just love it.
That's actually good. So what would you say to people who are actually looking to do an internship like yourself? What are the required things? And I believe you have said some of them before. Certifying your document, learning German to B2, right? And what else do you think people should also know if they want to do an internship in Germany?
Having an internship in Germany is, apart from just like what you just said, there are also some requirements, which includes clarification of identification. They really want to know where you're from, and they also want to know your your ability to work in a team. They always want this team job, and they always want your spirit that you love this job, that you're ready to do it, and yeah.
Okay, very good. So
that's the little I can say for now.
All right. So, cut, please. Another question is, how is dating like in Germany? You know, that's possibly Germans or other nationality. What's it like? Is it easy? Is it difficult? You know?
Dating in particular, I mean in general, it's something great. It's something wonderful. But yeah, dating in Germany, it could be a little bit difficult because everyone needs to work, everyone needs to face his whole life. Even just a little of the personal aspect, we still want to get to know each other, and sometimes it could also be difficult knowing the family members, because most of the family, for instance, my family now in Nigeria, and if my boyfriend was to know my family, could only know them through video calls and photos, and yeah. But actually, also the part of knowing other, I believe it's actually knowing the person, not just the who the person is or where the person comes from, but knowing the person individually. That's what I find most important.
Is it difficult for Africans to get German boyfriends, or you know?
No, not at all. It depends on your interest.
Yeah.
And some German guys, I mean, almost all German guys that I know, they're all appreciative about Black women and Afro women, and they say, no, we have this enthusiasm and we love to do something great, and we always have something in us, so they'll want to come closer and they'll want to also learn something.
Okay, so what advice would you give to Africans who are in Africa or in the diaspora? What advice would you give them, you know, as regards, you know, where they are currently?
Yes.
What would you say they should do based on your own experience, you know, in Germany?
I would like to say it's actually an adventure. It's something great to experience, but on the other hand, we should try to know more about the country first before you come.
Okay.
If knowing more about the country first, it helps you, and knowing the language is another plus. Although here in Germany, there are also people who speak English and can respond to you, but on the other hand, it's their language and they just don't want to forget it, and they also would be happy to see you struggling and trying your best to know the language.
Okay,
yes.
So you have heard what Stella has to say about her experience in Germany. One thing I could actually pick is the fact that you have to be interested in the language, you have to be interested in the culture, you have to be interested in your profession. Everything she has said boils down to being interested, you know, and that has been one of the reasons why she has been able to develop herself to where she is currently. So, Stella, any last word for the audience?
I want to say thank you for listening to me, for giving out your time. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Africans in Diaspora. I want to encourage you all to like and also to subscribe. Until the next episode, see you guys. Bye.
Yes, you know, compared to where you're coming from, Germany is a serious place. And I am from Nigeria. I don't know if I've mentioned that earlier. I'm from Nigeria. In Nigeria, you know, everyone is not, I don't know why they use the term serious, but we have this flexible life, you know, we don't take things so, you know, sometimes we just have this social life you want to mix up. But yeah.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Africans in Diaspora. With me here, I have a friend, and he's going to introduce himself shortly. So can the audience meet you, please?
Hello everyone, my name is Adebi Oyedemi.
Okay, so where are you currently and what are you doing here?
I'm currently in Germany, Munich precisely.
And what are you doing here?
Actually, I'm studying International Tourism Management, master's course at Degendorf Institute of Technology, which is about 2 hours drive from here.
Okay, so how has the experiences been so far, you know, in Germany, your master's program? Just a summary of how it has been.
It's been wonderful. Actually, this course is
just a bit tilting outside what I studied in Nigeria. In Nigeria, I studied human resource management, which has to do with the relationship between in an industry, within the personnel and all that. So, but here it has to do with tourism, and in my school, the tourism is also tilting towards medical, and there was some of the perspective, you know, some things they expect you to know as a student and all that. But eventually, I got to read more and I got to know more, and with time, I fell in love with the course, and I think since it's about culture, and I love it. It's so good. And then when it comes to the environment, Germany is a nice place. But maybe let me just say, firstly, my first shock as a student here, and probably as a stranger here when I first got here, like when I went to a bank, I was trying to talk to them, you know, speak. I was trying to, because of the fact that I couldn't speak Dutch. So the way they attended to me was a bit strict. I don't think I can. But with time, I got to realize that only it has to do with individuals and the way people relate. And so with time, I got to know that they are friendly and it's a good place to be. Yeah, it's a good place to be. Germany is good. Okay, so more elaborately, you know, you have said when you came newly, I believe that was when you came newly, you know, and you went to the bank, and possibly the receptionist or the person at the cash point wasn't so friendly to you, you know. So that's one experience. Can you talk about some of you know, the positive things that you have enjoyed so far, you know, while you have been in Germany, and experiences, so that the audience can actually learn from you? Okay, I can talk more about, you know, having been a student in the country. You know, I got to realize that in Germany, maybe when you school here, you can have a good relationship with your lecturer. They relate with you like friends. You know, when you have any issues at all, be it psychological or any probably you need counseling, they're accessible. You can go to meet them, talk to them, and even when you don't seem to have a good justice in your results for your exams, you can access them, you can talk to them. So this I've learned how to be simple in nature, you know, how to not really take, you know, everything so personal and all that. And eventually I realized that you have to study more. The time is not by your side. You have to run according to time, even when it comes to exams. 90 minutes. Even when you're reading, you have short time to read, so the time runs so fast and all that. So I came to realize that even having to meet up with appointments also was another thing I learned. You know, so all these things are build-ups, like things that could build me up, so that when I actually want to establish my probably company or organization, then all this culture is what I'll put in place. So these are the stuff we can learn in Germany, and there are more also. Okay, so can you talk a bit about the German grading system? You know, how did you find it to be compared to your home country? The German grading system, whenever, you know, whenever I'm having a conversation with my friends, I will say I don't want to have anything lower than 1.0. Is it lower or higher? Because the highest is 1.0. And when you want to have a lower one is like 4.5. So I say, okay, either higher or lower, I want to have 1.0. So the grading system is a bit strange, but eventually we got used to it, because you know, at home you have to calculate like maths, you know, sit with it, know what you want to have. Is it, if it's 80%, there's a grading system, probably 1.0 if it's, so it's like it's a bit challenging, but eventually you get know that maybe when you start working well on your exams and on your preparation, then your calculation, it's about planning. It's about what you calculate at home. You know, you don't just imagine, you plan yourself. Okay, so what's it like, you know, you said a bit about what it's like studying in Germany, you know, more or less like being your lecturers being accessible to you, you know. So can you talk about maybe like the day-to-day life of a student, you know, compared to where you're actually coming from? Yes, you know, compared to where you're coming from, Germany is a serious place. And I am from Nigeria. I don't know if I've mentioned that earlier. I'm from Nigeria. In Nigeria, you know, everyone is not, I don't know why they use the term serious, but we have this flexible life, you know, we don't take things so, you know, sometimes we just have this social life you want to mix up. But yeah, you know, even in the train, everybody's so focused, like I just want to get to where I'm going. And so when you get to meet people and ask, I want to see you, they will say, oh, okay. Sometimes you just want to have conversation with people, but people believe it's something so serious and all that. Yeah, but they have good social life here as well, but everybody's busy.
It's busy.
You have to respect people's time. You know, sometimes when you want to unwind, you know, you just feel the only way to unwind here is go to bar, drink. And for me that I don't drink, you know, it's cool, which is for me, but you know, I still try to have conversation with people. Another thing is, when you relate with people, you have to be careful of your choice of words. Like, okay, for example, in Nigeria, we use medicine, drug. We call medicine drug, but here, drug means, if you tell someone, have you taken a drug? Say, drug? No, but okay, medicine, I mean medicine. So there are choice of words. You have to be careful of the choice of words. So because of this, sometimes you get to relate with your own people more because they understand you better, you flow well. But at the same time, you cannot limit yourself because of information. Some of your people might not get all the information. You might get from one. So you need to relate with them as well. Just make sure you balance it. Sure, because here you could be stressed. Alone, being alone can be depressing. Thank you. It could be depressing. And because of this, you need to mix with people. Because when you are in your room, you don't get to talk with every other person in the room. So because of this, let me say, relating with people, trying to get, you just have to study the environment, then just walk along with it.
Okay. So another question is actually, are there jobs for students? You know, how do people take care of themselves while they are studying?
Yes, there are jobs for students, but one factor I will have to specify here is that students, when you come, like I said, the language is everywhere. You need to study the language. So there are some jobs that they will specifically tell you have to be fluent with the language. And there are some English-speaking jobs. A lot of English-speaking jobs could be manual jobs, like jobs you have to do your errands, jobs you have to go here and there. So they may not be easy jobs that you have to be on your system and press except for some other jobs, professional. So with this, when you are coming with the mind that yes, I want to sit in the office, you know, with the first job, because though you still depend on the fact that you want to earn some money to earn a living, but still you want to, you have to start with something, you know. So if you can do some jobs like service at gastronomy and all other, if you know you can do some of those jobs, there are agencies. There are agents for students too. We call them student terms here. When you go online, search student terms, you see they have some of their jobs. Some jobs are English speaking, while some are not English speaking. So you just have to, while some are not a must, like. So you just have to choose, then talk to them, send a mail to them, then that's how to get a job. There are other agencies apart from that, but for students.
Okay, so it's not actually sponsored, you know, but I believe it's actually talking from experience. And I can also list some other agencies, like he said. One is Student Temp, two is maybe Job Cafe, 3 Hadeco, 4. I can't remember all of them offhand, you know. There are also a lot of platforms like A Job, you know, jobcafe.de, you know, and a whole lot like that, you know, that you can actually search on and you will find jobs, you know.
But for professional jobs, you can see them on Indeed, Stepstone, Glassdoor, and some other jobs. So you can see this and compare to your course, to your the course you're studying and your line, the field of your career. Then from there you can decide to, you know, try them, because most essentially, I'll have to mention this. When you send an application to them, in most cases you get a rejection. In most cases, because I think there is always a preference when it comes to international students and the people here. So you have to, you know, line up to the standard. So eventually one one that picks you up.
We open the door for
others. So you just have to keep pressing.
So if I'm to get what you have said, it's more or less like at the initial stage, you might get a whole lot of rejection, especially when it has to do with professional jobs. But if you are persistent, you will actually get what you want. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Africans in Diaspora. I want to encourage you to like and also to subscribe and share with your family and friends. Until the next episode, see you guys.
So in Germany, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not like in Africa where you could just easily pay peanuts and then you get some sort of training and develop yourself. I had to work on myself personally. I sit in my room basically and I make rehearsals. I could scream loud and yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Africans in Diaspora. With me here I have Enya, and Enya is going to introduce herself further. So can the audience meet you?
Okay, hello. My name is Enya Calvin. I'm a gospel music minister based in Germany, Munich. Happily married with a child, a beautiful princess.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, I'm studying medicine. And yeah, doing music as well. So we're doing it two hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
God is helping us.
So how has it been so far? You know, mixing nursing career and also the music career.
Well, I would say it's been the grace of God, and God has, yeah, so far so good, seen me to where I am today.
Okay.
And we're still hoping on Him that He will take us far.
Yes.
And that He will see us to the end of my study, and that by the end of the day I would be where I want to be.
Oh, glory. So I want to ask, what's your background is like? You know, you talked about the fact that you're a music minister. You know, can you tell us like the background? How did you jump into music? You know, and how it grew to where you are currently?
Well, my name Enya actually, it's an abbreviation of my name, like Ogene Akbobo, and this means my life is in God's hand. And I'll basically say my life is in God's hand, really, because everything that happens, I didn't plan for it. It's God's perfect will. God spoke to me, and when He speaks, He brings to pass.
All right.
When I got into the music ministry, I never planned to get into singing or professionally or something. I was just like a little girl serving from my heart, from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to be a means or a measure where God uses and then blesses people. And so I rendered my heart, the whole of my heart to God. And from there, God decided to pick me and use me. And He gave me an assignment to organize concerts, to draw people to Him, where we praise and worship Him annually. And this concert is called the Called Musical Concert, because basically it is a call. It's not a thing I just woke up and decided to do.
Okay. And
by the grace of God, we've had like 3 series, and we're planning and looking forward to the 4th by the grace of God.
Also, so one thing that I would want you to also talk about is how you developed your skills. You know, in terms of your vocal strength. You know, releasing music and you know a lot of things, music management generally. Yeah.
Well, I say in Germany it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not like in Africa where you could just easily pay peanuts and then you get some sort of training and develop yourself. I had to work on myself personally. I sit in my room basically and I make rehearsals. I could scream loud and yeah. My role models, I could say, yeah, Tasha Cobbs, and the likes of Whitney Houston, blessed memory, and yeah, I make practice at home. I watch YouTube, and yeah, and God has been faithful.
Okay. So another question is for someone who would like to walk in the steps, you know, that you have actually gone, you know. What would you advise the person, that like practical steps, you know, like you talked about rehearsing at home. Can you say maybe like quantify it, like maybe more or less like in a week you are doing 5 hours, 6 hours, you know, or it's like every
in Germany that is not possible, especially when you have to work or you have to go to school. That is impossible. But I mean, self-determination, determined to do something, even if it's just twice in a week or once in a week, but fix yourself and be determined. Just determine that this week or this day I have made so amount of time, or 30 minutes or 1 hour into something. I wouldn't say really, if I say I do this like every time, I'm lying. But yeah, I know that I dedicate some time when I want. I am so self-determined. When I want to do something, I want to get something, I set my goals and I go for it. So set your goals and make up your mind, and then above all, look unto God.
Oh.
And then, yeah,
awesome.
He will see you through.
So you just released a new song. Yeah, can you tell us about it?
Actually, Miru, it's not a new song.
Okay.
It's a song we released since I think February last year.
Okay.
And the what's it called? The
feedback.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. The feedback was great. People wanted to see more. People wanted to hear more. In fact, I got to some extent where I had to. I was getting invitation to minister just Miru.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, somehow, yeah, they requested to get a video from Miru, and by the grace of God, God helped us. It's a small one. It's our first video.
Oh,
but I tell you today, I got a news, and someone checked in on YouTube and said, "Oh, Miru is doing really good," because so far so good. It wasn't really a big project, but it's doing well.
Okay.
And it's blessing lives. So I would like you to go and see.
Yeah.
Miru. It's on Enya Calvin YouTube channel. So just take your time. It's just a 4-minute video, and surely you'll be blessed.
Yeah. Can you spell Miru so that?
So Miru.
Yeah.
M-I-Y.
R U W E. All right, so you have listened Miru. Did I get the pronunciation?
Yeah, Miru.
So you can type that on the search bar in YouTube and actually look for it, or you can go directly to our channel, Enya Calvin. Enya Calvin. Okay. All right. So, do you have any last word for people out there? You know, whether in the diaspora in Africa, who are also looking at doing music, who are looking at pursuing one passion or the other. You know, based on your own experience, you know, what would you say the person should actually do?
What will I say? Don't go for what other people are doing. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Go for what you know you have been sent to do, what you have been called for. Don't copy others. That is the one thing that will drive you. Yeah? And then passion, and then determination.
All right. So everyone, you have listened to what Enya has to say. She has actually talked about the fact that for you to succeed in whatever venture you find yourself in, or in whatever passion you have, be authentic. Be yourself, you know, and be determined, and the sky is just the starting point. So to the next episode, or do you have any final word?
Just look out for Enya.
Oh, look out for Enya. Very good. So to the next episode of Africans in Diaspora, don't forget to like and also to subscribe and to share with your friends and family. See you guys in the next video. Ciao.
And going through the process application, I applied to many various schools just to not just narrow my options. I widened my options well. So I applied to many schools, and thank God Technical University München gave me the admission, and here I am studying mathematics.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Africans in Diaspora. With me here I have Faith, and he's going to introduce himself further. So can the audience actually meet you, Mr. Faith?
Okay, my name is Faith Bello. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay, so where are you currently and what are you doing here?
Okay, I'm a student here. I'm studying at TUM in München,
Okay.
And doing my master's in mathematics.
Mathematics, wow, that's a subject that a lot of people actually find very difficult. So can you say a bit of your background? How did you get into, you know, mathematics, as it were?
Well, yeah, you know, whenever I have normal conversation with people and like I'm a student studying mathematics, they're like, wow, mathematics as a whole. And I tell people, well, maths, it's a subject that, how will I put it? It's a subject that comprises of all sciences, and it makes you think wide. And why I love mathematics is, from my secondary school days, I have this teacher, you know, it makes maths so easy that it breaks everything down to the simplest way that you understand. So then I gradually developed interest in mathematics, and whenever I have exam, I discover that whichever exam I wrote, I pass maths a lot. In fact, during my secondary school days, if I don't have 98, I have 99. So then I started having interest in mathematics. So then time to gain admission into university came, and initially I wanted to study computer science.
Okay.
But you know, as fate we call it, I applied for computer science. I wasn't given. So I have to apply for another school. Then I was given mathematics, industrial mathematics. Industrial mathematics at Adekunle Ajasin University, Ondo State.
Okay.
So gaining the admission, then first year in the school, it was not normal basic subject, and I see myself performing well in mathematics. Second year, it was normal now, facing the mathematics. Well, I won't say it was quite easy. It was quite challenging because I'm this kind of social guy. So mixing my social life with my courses quite challenging, but we thank God we escaped through in Adekunle Ajasin. Whoever went to Adekunle Ajasin, we know that studying industrial mathematics there is, they give you kudos.
Oh, it's kudos.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, one of the goals of this channel is actually to bring opportunities to people who are in the diaspora and also in Africa as a continent now. So you actually said that you are studying currently at the Technical University in Untitled. Can you tell the audience how you got the admission? What was the process like?
Oh, okay. Well, after graduating from school, I've had this mentality and ideology that I'm going to do my master's, but I won't do my master's in Nigeria.
Okay.
After when others, my mates, are applying to UI, Unilag, I said to myself, no, Faith, this is what I want.
So for those who don't know, UI is University of Ibadan and Unilag University of Lagos.
So then I said, okay. I started, making my research, applying for jobs and all that. But job didn't come so easy, you know how it is. So I ventured into a business, a dry cleaning business. And well, thank God I was doing great because of probably because of the wide knowledge I have in mathematics. So it helps me to, brand my business well and growing fast. So I was doing the business at the same time. I applied for a teaching job because I know that is a part-time job for me. So I was doing that with my business, but at the same time I was still looking for an opportunity to travel out of the country for masters. So I learned about US, United States of America, Canada, and the UK. But due to their tuition fee, the high tuition fee and all that, and after getting information about Germany, I discovered that Germany is a place where I can stay. The security is very good. You get the same quality education you can get anywhere else in the world. With, in fact, zero tuition fee. And why will I disturb myself going to the UK when I have something that will give me free education and widen my knowledge? And I know Germans are known for IT, technology. So generally, this makes me feel, oh, this is my destination. And going through the process application, I applied to various schools just to not just narrow my options. I widened my options well. So I applied to many schools, and thank God Technical University Munich gave me the admission, and here I am studying mathematics. So
if you can, from what he has actually said, he applied to a whole lot of schools. He did not just try one, he did not just try two, I believe it's more than three, and at the end of the day, he got what he actually wanted. Okay, so can you go in details, what the process is like, when I talk about in details, such that if someone listens to this interview, the person can follow such steps and would, if not get an admission in Munich, he can get somewhere else in Germany.
Okay. Well, when I started applying, there are some schools that you have to go through Uni Assist. You have to first fill up the application form in Uni Assist, pay some certain amounts, and there are some schools where you apply directly.
So for those who don't know, Uni Assist is like an intermediary between the school and the applicants. So it's more or less like, instead of applying directly to the university, Uni Assist serves as an intermediary. They get the application from the applicant and they send it, after they have evaluated, they send it to the university.
So then, because like I said earlier, that I applied to various schools, so there are some schools that I have to apply directly. So I fill up the application form online, a lot of questions. You have to submit your documents. That means your
your first degree,
your transcripts. Some schools will require a letter of English proficiency. So if you are coming from Nigeria, there are some countries where English is not their first language. So they will require you to write IELT and so on. So I was required to tender my letter of English proficiency, my degree and my transcripts. Then after uploading those documents online, then you wait for the school to give you a final approval of if they are going to give you admission or not. So, but if you are going through Uni Assist as a process, Uni Assist has their own format. You have to fill up the format, home address, whatever about you, your CV. And there's one thing very important. Whenever you want to apply, make sure your CV is up to date. Whatever you're doing to that present moment you're applying, your CV has to be up to date. So you have to update your CV every time and then. So we have to fill in my CV, my documents as usual for Uni Assist, for them to evaluate your degree certificate. The transcript you tender to them, they have to evaluate it. Then after evaluating, they will send it. They'll send you, they call it VPD. It's the name is in German, but I can't really pronounce it. So we call it VPD. They will send it to you that after evaluation. So after that, then you know that okay, your document has been forwarded to the school. Now, if you're applying to a school like TUM, Technical University, Munich, TUM has their own site also where you have to apply again for that course. Before I forget, when you're applying to Uni Assist, for people who wants to apply, don't just apply for a course. Make sure you put it, we call it early. That is all courses. When you put all courses, it means
it can be used.
It can be used for whatever courses you want to apply for in any school. So you don't just narrow your chances to one. So after putting that, then you go to the site, to the school site. You fill up the application form. It's not that tedious. It's just fill up the application form. They require you to put your CV again, your degree, upload it, everything. Then you have to write a motivation letter. And that motivation letter is your chance of getting admission. Just to convince them that okay, you're a right candidate to be admitted for that course. Because if your motivation letter is not convincing enough, then you might be denied.
Okay, can you state maybe like one or two major points you actually used in yours?
Well, like I've said earlier, we will always refer, because Germany is like is a technological country. So while writing my motivation letter, I input that information because they love when you praise them. They love it. They love, because they know that, oh, that means you've already gone through our profile, knowing that, oh, this is what we're really based on. So, and you write about the course you want to study, the love you have for the course. What are the things you've done, your previous, experience and all that, and what are other IT knowledge have you acquired rather. So those things, when you put it, they know that okay, you know what you really want, and you know what you're saying, because those things, is like testing you psychologically. If someone helps you to write it, or you wrote it by yourself, because there are some courses you have to, if your motivation letter is not convincing enough, they can call you for Skype interview. That same thing you wrote down, you have to explain it without looking at it. So which is like an exam. So it's, you are doing a one-on-one interview. So once you do so that means not you. So you should be able to cultivate defend it, defend what you wrote is very important. So putting those motivation letter and all that, then the school will send you a mail, tell you okay, we'll look into your application and then get back to you. Just wait patiently. Don't send mail reminding them that I'm still waiting for admission.
Just be patient.
That one will delay your application.
Okay, so now you talked about being patient. What's like the duration? Like, a lot of times they always give like a cap. Say for example, like 3 weeks to 3 months. So something like for your own situation. How long?
For my own situation, it depends on how early you apply. If you apply very early, like doing your uni assist as early as possible, even before the school portal will open.
Okay.
That will give you a chance of gaining admission early.
Okay.
Because if your uni assist take about 3 weeks a month.
Yeah.
And if uni assist is taking 3 weeks a month and application for the school has already started. And you are doing uni assist by then, that means other people who has done theirs before then have chances, better chances than you.
Yeah.
So my advice is doing your uni assist earlier before the school portal opens. So by the time uni assist will send you VPD, the school portal is already open. You apply through the school. Then max, let's say a month.
A month.
Okay. A month too. It depends on your motivation letter though.
Okay.
Because the school will forward your application to the department you're applying to. Uni assist send your document to the school.
To the school.
Not to the department.
Okay.
School will now, after filling the school, will now forward your application to the department
you have chosen.
Yeah. And mind you, even in that same school, you can still apply to as many courses as possible. At least 3. To be on the safe side. You can apply to 3 courses in TUM. You want to go to another university, LMU, apply to 3 courses there. Just spread your
net.
Just spread it, and before you know it, at least one. I won't lie to you, I was given two admission. I was given 2 admission. But I have to like, okay, which one will I go for? Which one is best? And I see, oh, mathematics is still mine. I go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Africans in Diaspora. I want to encourage you to like and also to subscribe and share with your family and friends. Until the next episode, see you guys.